Squidward gets his first day off in years. Within hours, he's hallucinating his coworker everywhere, barricading himself in his house, then running naked through the streets screaming about work. And the reason he snapped? It's so painfully relatable, it'll make you question whether SpongeBob is a cartoon or a documentary. The episode is called Squids Day Off. Mr. Krabs is in the hospital after a dime rolls down the kitchen sink drain. He shoves his claw in to grab it, his arm rips clean off his body, and then a shelf of heavy objects crashes onto his head. Because, of course it did. The Krusty Krab is dead on a Sunday, and Squidward finally has permission to just go home and relax.
Take care, hurry back, get well soon.
Instead, he spends the entire day catastrophizing. He imagines SpongeBob giving away all the restaurant's money, burning the building down, causing disasters that would never happen. He checks on SpongeBob 20 times. He barricades himself in his house to stop himself from checking again, then immediately breaks through his own barricade. He sees SpongeBob's face in his bathtub drain. The punchline? They forgot to flip the close sign to open. Nobody could have come to the restaurant anyway. Squidward destroyed his mental health over a workday that literally never existed. That's not a punchline. That's a panic disorder diagnosis. When you're a kid watching SpongeBob, the joke is obvious. Squidward is the grumpy villain. He's mean to SpongeBob. He hates his job. He's always complaining. Classic children's show setup. Optimistic hero, cynical adult, comedic conflict. But watch it as an adult and the joke stops being funny, because Squidward isn't a villain. Squidward is a musician and a visual artist stuck working minimum wage at a fast food restaurant he's wildly overqualified for, managed by a boss whose literal personality trait is greed, working alongside someone whose enthusiasm level would get him drug tested in any other workplace. Every single day, Squidward shows up to do the job he despises, serves food he doesn't care about, goes home alone, and tries to convince himself that his real passions, his art, his music, his actual identity still matter. That he still matters. And there's one episode that proves this isn't an exaggeration. It's actually worse than you think. In Artist Unknown, Squidward finally gets to teach art at the rec center. This is everything he's been waiting for. The chance to share his passion, be recognized as the sophisticated artist he knows he is, finally have people take him seriously. He opens the door expecting eager students. Every single person wanted the cooking class, not art. They all leave, every single one except SpongeBob. What happens next is one of the most brutal things Nickelodeon has ever aired, and nobody talks about it. SpongeBob, who's never taken an art class in his life, is effortlessly, accidentally brilliant at everything Squidward has spent decades trying to master. SpongeBob draws a perfect circle by first sketching a detailed human head and then erasing the features. One tap of a chisel and he's carved Michelangelo's David from raw marble. Perfect technique, zero effort. Squidward's response isn't pride in his student. It's not even professional jealousy. It's visceral self-hatred. Watching someone casually nail the thing you've sacrificed your entire life for, while they're barely even trying, that breaks something inside a person. So, Squidward does what most people do when they're that broken. He tears SpongeBob down, makes him repeat, "I have no talent," and Mr. Tentacles has all the talent, until SpongeBob genuinely believes he's worthless. Until a door knocks SpongeBob straight out a window and into a dumpster, and all he can say is,
"I deserve that."
This isn't cartoon villain behavior. This is what happens when someone's been beaten down so completely that the only way they can function is by making sure everyone around them feels equally small. That's not a personality flaw. That's what untreated workplace trauma looks like. And that same damage shows up in Squids Day Off, except instead of destroying someone else, Squidward turns it inward. He can't even enjoy the things that are supposed to make him happy anymore. He's physically incapable of rest. His brain has completely rewired itself around work anxiety. Every moment away from the Krusty Krab is filled with intrusive thoughts, catastrophic thinking, compulsive checking, an inability to be present in his own life. Here's what makes that so uncomfortable. Burnout isn't just being tired. It's the total erosion of your ability to exist separately from your job. You can't turn it off. Your nervous system is stuck in threat mode. Squidward hallucinates SpongeBob asking,
Have you ever finished those errands?
on loop, because that's what chronic occupational stress actually does to your brain. The show frames it as comedy. Look at the silly octopus going crazy. But it's a textbook case of anxiety disorder playing out on Nickelodeon at 4 in the afternoon. But Squidward isn't just another burnout worker. He's something way more specific and way more painful if you recognize it. He's the creative who never made it. Here's what everyone gets wrong about Squidward. They think the joke is that he's delusional. He thinks he's this incredible artist, but he's actually terrible. His clarinet playing is awful. His paintings are narcissistic. His dance is embarrassing. Classic comedy. Guy with zero talent and zero self-awareness. Except the show never actually confirms that. In Artist Unknown, when Squidward has a complete meltdown and starts smashing marble sculptures in rage, he accidentally creates something even more beautiful than SpongeBob's masterpiece. An art collector walks in, sees what Squidward made, and calls it the work of the greatest artist who ever lived. But here's what makes it truly devastating. Squidward never hears it. He's already stormed out, convinced the whole thing was a disaster. The recognition he spent his entire life craving is literally standing in the room he just left, and he doesn't even know it exists. Think about what the show is actually saying there. The talent was always real, but Squidward is so mentally destroyed by years of grinding at the Krusty Krab that he can only access his actual abilities through a breakdown. And even then, he's too defeated to stick around long enough to see the result. This is what makes Squidward the perfect millennial icon. He's not just tired from working too hard. He's trapped in the gap between who he is and who he was supposed to be. Real dreams, real artistic ambitions he genuinely believed he'd achieve. Slowly dying while he serves Krabby Patties to pay rent. He can see exactly what his life could have been. He knows he's capable of more, but the economic reality of this world has made it functionally impossible to get there. So he shows up to a job he's overqualified for, does the bare minimum, and tries not to think about the person he was supposed to become. This is what quiet quitting actually looks like, and nobody realized SpongeBob was documenting it 25 years ago. Squidward hasn't officially quit. He shows up, he does his tasks, he collects his paychecks, but psychologically, he checked out years ago. He openly despises every second of his job, makes zero effort to hide his contempt for customers, actively undermines his coworkers, and spends as much time as possible doing literally anything else. The only reason he's still there is the same reason millions of people are still at jobs they hate. Bills exist, and there's no realistic exit strategy. Mr. Krabs is the perfect representation of why this happens. He's the boss who got his own arms ripped off after diving for a dime in the drainpipe and still expects the restaurant to run while he's in the hospital. He's the manager who puts Squidward in charge and provides zero additional pay or support. He's the owner who watches his coworkers suffer and genuinely doesn't understand why morale is low. Squidward's burnout isn't a personal failure. It's the inevitable result of working for someone who sees you as a production unit instead of a human being. And what makes Squidward the voice of this generation is that he knows all of this. He's not in denial. He doesn't have some toxic positivity mindset telling him it's all going to work out if he just manifests harder. He sees his situation with brutal, exhausting clarity. He knows he's trapped, and he shows up anyway, because what else is he going to do? That's not pessimism. That's realism when you're living through late-stage capitalism with a creative degree and student debt. The show accidentally created the most relatable character in modern animation by just honestly depicting what it's like to be an overeducated, underpaid creative worker with deteriorating mental health and no way out. Squidward is what happens when you tell an entire generation, follow your dreams, and then build an economy where following your dreams means choosing between rent and groceries. So what does this actually look like when you're watching SpongeBob as an adult instead of a kid? When you're watching these episodes as a kid, you're laughing because Squidward's grumpy and SpongeBob's silly. The clarinet sounds bad, he yells a lot, it's funny. But when you're watching as an adult, you're not laughing. You're sitting there having the worst realization of your life. You are Squidward. You've been Squidward for years. That panic about work on your day off, Squidward. That bitterness watching someone younger succeed effortlessly at what you've struggled with, Squidward. That dead look in your eye at the cash register while you imagine the art you'll never make, Squidward. A Nickelodeon cartoon from 2001 predicted your mental breakdown with perfect accuracy. They tried to warn us. We just thought it was a joke. If this made you realize something uncomfortable about your own life, hit that like button. Misery loves company. Subscribe because we've got some great content coming up that's going to hit even harder. And drop a comment telling me which character we should analyze next. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming. Thanks for letting me ruin Squidward for you. See you in the next one.